everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to start my third and final shelf on my Unread TBR. So if you have not seen one of these videos, I am doing a try a chapter tag of all of my unread books that I cannot get copies of digitally. So if you have missed these, I have one shelf that is books that I can get digitally, that I have not read, that I can get digitally through my library or any of my free resources. Then I have another shelf that is books that I cannot get digitally, so I will have to read them with my eyes. And I have them that way so I can prioritize, like because if I'm going to read with my eyes, it's going to take me longer. And I want to be able to prioritize those books that I can't get digitally because if I can read them digitally, I can read them a little quicker. And, I have plenty to read with my eyes. And so I want to prioritize that way. So I will link down below. I've done the first shelf and the second shelf. The first shelf, I ended up getting rid of quite a few just by doing a try a chapter because some of these books have been sitting on my shelf for years. And my husband and I have been married 7 years and we've moved 3 times, I think. And I've moved some of these books all 3 times. And we're not planning to move again, but I just need to clear stuff out, either read it or get it gone. So the second time I didn't get rid of quite as many, but this has been really successful and really feels good to me. It's also a great opportunity for if you guys want to buddy read. Buddy reading physical books is my favorite because it motivates me to continue to read my physical books because a lot of times I could, even in my opportunities where I can physically read, I can still multitask. And as the mom of littles, I'm sure you guys know the ability to multitask is awesome, but I get it just feeds my soul to read physically for a while. And so it makes me prioritize them. So in any of these 3 videos, if you see books that you're like, hey, let's buddy read that, I am probably open to doing that. So that's my reasons for doing these. Now, the third shelf is my largest, not because it's a different size of anything, but I actually have 3 shelves plus a little bit. So there's quite a few books on here, but let's just take you to the shelves. You can see what's on there. It's a good mix of things. So you can see what's on there and we'll get started. Okay, here's my third and final shelf of books that are unread and I cannot get a digital copy. So as you can see, this one's a little clustered because it's the third and final. And so thankfully I have made space on shelf 1 and shelf 2 so I can organize some of these, but I have not read these for a try chapter yet. So I want to get that done before I get things organized. So that shadow's doing me no favors, but we got some Kingsbury, some Olivia Miles. We've got historical fiction, rom-com, women's fiction. Let's see, Christian fiction, Mary Higgins Clark, a little suspense. We've got all sorts of things. Some Lisa Scottolini, Paige Toon, Donovan Lear, Wendy Wax, Carrie Winfrey, one of my favorites. This Louise Jensen thriller. So we have got a mixed bag here. And I will just start updating as I read them. Hey everyone, so I have read the first 3 books that I'm doing for this try chapter. And you guys, if I manage to make this a good video, we're going to need to throw a parade because I'm currently vlogging for Roll Your Next Read, the Krista's Catch-Up-a-thon, Build Your Own Sunday Read-a-thon, and this, and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it all straight. But, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm in this darn slump. And so I'm trying to figure out a way out of it. And I think reading these first chapters is going to help me. So the first one is 3 Wishes by Barbara Delinsky. And you guys, I almost just unhauled this without even reading it because the font is tiny. It you can't even see how small it is, but it is tiny. I don't love mass markets. So I was like, if I don't like this first chapter at all, then I'm going to just let it go. And the whole thing is 350 pages or something and 16 chapters or something. So the chapters are long, the font is small, whatever. But I read the first chapter and I really liked it. So this is about a woman named Brien. She is a waitress and she is in a blizzard and she's down on her luck. She's not down on her luck. She's a really positive, great gal. And she works for this diner that she pretty much runs the place, even though she's not the owner, but she pretty much runs the place. You really get a familial vibe and, you really get endeared to Brien in this first chapter. And she's walking home because she does not have a working car. And the snow is so bad that she doesn't want anybody trying to drive her up the hill to her house, in the snow. So she's walking home and a car is going crazy. And it says on the back that she wakes up in the hospital after a blizzard and she can't recall what happened and stuff. And so it sounds really interesting, and I guess I'm going to keep it. And just, this would be a great one if I could get a digital copy, but it wasn't. The first chapter was like 25 pages, and it wasn't bad to read with my eyes. It's just not my preferred. So this one's staying. Then we've got Mary Higgins Clark, On the Street Where You Live. And this one, the first chapter, is just told from a serial killer's perspective. And she's written a couple others like that. And I'm really kind of on the fence about this one, because if it's got something unique, great. On the back, it says, following a nasty divorce and the trauma of being stalked, criminal defense attorney Emily Graham leaves Albany to work in Manhattan. Craving roots, she buys her ancestral home, a Victorian house in the seaside resort of Spring Lake, so New Jersey. And so this guy, I think he's like reading journals or something of a former like a serial killer from the 1800s. I think the timeline's not really clear. And he is kind of doing copycat killings, and they were all killed in trios. And so he's killed 2, and now his third victim is this defense attorney. And she is the descendant of one of the people who was killed by the first guy, I think. So I don't know about this. I will probably keep it, but I don't have high hopes. So why am I keeping it, you ask? I don't know, because I have a problem. But last is The Good Sister by Jamie Kain. And this one is interesting. I think this is going to be like a YA, and it's told, there's 3 sisters, and it's told all 3 get like their own perspectives. And one of the sisters has died, and so she's like talking from beyond the grave. And then one is like a bad girl, and one is, Rachel is wild, Asha is lost, Sarah, the good sister, is the glue that holds them together, but somehow she dies, and we don't really know, and I think it's mysterious circumstance. So I'm interested in this one. Short chapters, and this one will fly. So those are the 3 I've read. So far, I think I'm going to keep them all, but hey, everyone. So I have read a couple more books, and this is like slow going. You guys don't know because it's happening, like clips are just coming regardless of how long it's been, but like, it is hard for me to get these done. And for some reason, this shelf so far has had all pretty long chapters. And you guys, what is that about? This is one, The Sister by Louise Jensen. So this is one that it's not got very long chapters, I guess. So I'm kind of negating what I just said. But this is one that I am in an existential crisis of like, why am I even doing this video? Because this is one that I read the first chapter and was going to read, like I maybe even read part of the second chapter, and I was not drawn in. However, I looked on Goodreads, it's got decently high ratings, and some people that I really trust have really liked this book. And so what do? I'm going to keep it, but this is definitely one. If you're interested at all, let me know and we'll buddy read, because I feel like that I need to be like prodded along. So it's told in like chapter 1 is now. I think chapter 2 is now. But it's about 2 sisters. It's her best friend, not her sister. See, I don't even like remember, and I read this like 2 days ago, but Grace and Charlie. So Charlie has died, and I think the 2 did like a kind of time capsule thing, and so they were going to bury this thing, and Charlie is the one who died. She said the last time she saw her, she said like, I did something terrible or something like that, something in that regard. And so I'm trying to find the exact phrase that she said, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so they buried this memory box, and now Charlie is dead, and her last words were, goodness, I really want to find it, but, I did something terrible, Grace. I hope you can forgive me. And so what did she do? I don't know. And Grace is now, she goes and picks that memory box back up now that Charlie has died to try to figure out what happened. And Charlie put a letter in the memory box that we don't know what it says, but I think she's going to discover that. So it sounds really interesting, and it's going to be a thriller. I mean, obviously, the back says, I don't know if I want to tell you, because sometimes the back says too much. So if this sounds interesting at all about somebody who obviously did something, I would say it's like YA-ish. It says a compelling, gripping psychological thriller, perfect for fans of The Girl on the Train, I Let You Go, and The Girl with No Past. And so, I don't know. This sounds really intriguing. even though the writing style is kind of descriptive. And so, but there's, I mean, short chapters. It's not very long. The whole book is only 330 pages. So, yes, I don't know. It's told in then and now. Like, why was I not intrigued by this? I don't know. But if you want to buddy read this, let me know. I'm going to keep it and give it a shot. And I can't get it digitally. Like, that's the whole point of this shelf. So, yeah, let me know. Anyway, the next one I read was The Lost Letters by Sarah Mitchell. This one is interesting. This one did have really long chapters, but Martha is a woman. I mean, she's a middle-aged. I think she's in her 40s or something, but she's got a grown daughter, and she's on an airplane, and like the emergency stuff goes down. Everything is like scary, scary, scary. And she's sitting next to this young guy, and they kind of strike up a friendship. At first, they're not, but then like this traumatic event happens. The masks come down. He can't get his. She helps him, all that kind of stuff. So definitely a scene, even though it's like a 20-something page chapter, it had me interested. And she's going to London where her daughter lives. And I think her and her daughter are somewhat estranged, but she's going because her dad has died. And I think he left some letters there or something. So it's told in Canada, present day, and Norfolk, 1940. So Martha's beloved dies and leaves her two things: a mysterious stash of letters to an English woman called Catkins, and directions to a beach hut in the English seaside of the town of Wells next to the sea. Martha is at a painful crossroads in her own life and seizes this chance for a trip to England to discover more about her family's past and the identity of her father's secret correspondent. So we get that, and I would, if it was just back and forth chapters, I would have just gone ahead and read the next chapter, even though they're super long, to get the other perspective from Norfolk in 1940. But I didn't, because chapter 2 continues with Martha now. And so I don't know like how evenly this is split. I'm interested in Martha now because I want to know like what's going on with her daughter, all of that. I'm not super interested in the letters and stuff yet, but I wonder when that will come, because chapter 3 is Norfolk, May 1939. So I don't know. It's from a woman named Sylvia's perspective. Sylvia. Her husband Howard has gone off to war. She's struggling to raise her two kids alone. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. So I'm intrigued by both of these. So I'm going to keep both of them, but neither of them are like, I got to read this right now. So we'll see. I've got quite the shelf to go through. I was looking at them, and I think there's only one that's like a sequel, so I'm not going to bother reading it now because I know I'm going to read it. And so I've got a lot to read. So here we go. Hey friend, so I have finished 2 more books for this, and this is taking me so long to do, and part of it is because these do have long chapters, and part of it is just I am in a slump, and it is like a slump to end all slumps. And the reason why is because it is July 23rd, and I did a July TBR, and it just got overwhelming to me, and like the dates are putting a lot of pressure on me as far as like when things go back and all the things, and so I'm feeling like pressure to read those books, which then means these get put on the back burner, even though this is the project that I really enjoy doing. So I've read 2 more, and we'll just keep trucking along. So this first one I read is 15 Minutes by Karen Kingsbury. So I read the first chapter of this, and it is actually a prologue, and this is about a woman named, let's see, what is her name? It's not listed in the synopsis. Let's see, Chandra Olsen. So she, I think, is a famous singer, and she was like the winner of this show called 15 Minutes, which is very American Idol-esque, I think. And now it's 10 seasons later or whatever, and she's uber famous. And every year she takes off 2 days and says, like, nobody contact me, nothing. And she goes back to Alabama, I think, and she goes to her parents' graves. And now her parents were killed by a stalker of hers, and somebody who threatened her and then killed her parents in an attempt to get her attention. And so now she is a judge now on this 15 Minutes. And so then chapter 1 starts with somebody named Zach. And I think it's probably a contestant. He's probably a contestant on 15 Minutes, because she said that's like her favorite part is just seeing all the like young talent and like that these people's lives are about to change just like hers did. So there's Zach and then Reese, those are the two characters. I think Zach is going to be Zach's going to be a contestant. It says Zach Dillon made a promise to God and his college sweetheart as he left his family's horse farm in Kentucky to compete on 15 minutes. If he makes it, the fame won't change him. So overnight, he is the most popular, etc. And then at the same time, Reese Weatherly, a therapeutic horse instructor, is no longer sure about her relationship with Zach or the wedding they had dreamed about. So it's his girlfriend that he kind of left behind, I think, and then his time in fame. So this says... Kingsbury considers the cost of fame in a tale that's sure to cause tears, and I feel like she does a pretty good job of that. She is a Christian fiction author that I feel like generally does, again, kind of Nicholas Sparks-esque, that it'll be a hard-hitting romance, but this is good. It's just kind of longer chapters, and I didn't know I was going to read the first chapter too, but I didn't, so... Yeah, just a little bit longer chapters, but I'm still really intrigued. Especially, like, the whole concept is something that I find really interesting. Especially seeing, like, Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson. I mean, Kelly Clarkson, I watched back in those days, and, like, I was in love with Clay Aiken and Ruben Studdard. And, like, it's weird how... Ruben Studdard especially had this voice that was like, holy moly. And where is he now? I don't really know. But it's weird how people take off and how they don't. And how, if you go back and look at Carrie Underwood's, like, American Idol time, she's a lot different than she is now. And that's one reason I really don't like Carrie Underwood, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, this is an intriguing concept. Next is 1 Week at the Wedding by Olivia Miles. Or 1 week to the wedding. And this is I was really intrigued by this first one. So the first chapter is about Kate Daniels, which is another person that I went to high school with. You guys, I feel like so many times I talk about, there's like names that are first and last names of people I knew. And I went to a huge high school, so maybe that's why. But anyway, she is a wedding planner, and she is now tasked with planning her best friend's wedding. And I think there's, the best friend is really nervous about the wedding because the future in-laws do not like her, and the best man does not like her. I think it's maybe the brother of her groom. They don't like her. And so our Kate Daniels, she is... we don't know what has happened, but she's kind of like down on love and all of that, and kind of didn't think this wedding was going to end up happening. And so we're just kind of going through that. And I think she is really close to her cousin as well. And her cousin is one of a bunch of, like, there's a bunch of boys, and then there's her. She's the one girl. And so the grandmother just died or something and left her, this cousin, all the things. And so we're going to get relationships with the cousin, with her best friend, and she's a wedding planner, and I'm really liking this so far. I mean, I only read the first chapter, but I really enjoyed it. So those are the two I've read. On to the next. I will try to update more. I'm just about done with all my readathons and things, so I'll try to update more soon. Hey everyone, so I finished 2 more books. So I finished Alphabet Weekend, the first chapter, except I didn't. Alphabet Weekend by Elizabeth Noble. And I did not finish the first chapter of this because the prologue is 40 pages long. So it's broken into sections about different couples. And so I went ahead and read one section of each couple, and I'm really intrigued. The back says, Natalie and Tom have been best friends forever, but Tom wants them to be more, so it's kind of an unrequited thing, but she just broke up with somebody, so maybe. And then we get Tom's brother, I think, and then an unrelated older couple. And I'm really intrigued to see how everybody's intertwined. I was instantly grabbed, I read probably 25 pages, and it was really easy to read, although this is kind of chunky and font's pretty small, but I will definitely read this. The other one, let me grab it over here, is A Girl Thing by Sarah O'Brien. So this is one that I got when I was in Ireland, and Sarah O'Brien is a Irish author, I believe. Anyway, this one did not grab me at all. So this is about a woman who works at 6 Fab Radio or something. She's a radio DJ, and it's about her and a romance with a guy that comes in. He's like a coworker that I think is kind of a know-it-all, maybe a little bit of an enemy to lovers. And then there's also like a missing brothers case, and this is almost 500 pages, and I was not intrigued enough. It's probably fine, but it is one that I'm going to let go. So I will let you know when I read more. Hey everyone, so we are sitting outside because the girls, my girls do dance, and every week they get a little surprise at the end, and it's either a stamp, a sticker, or a sucker, and it goes like stamp, sticker, sucker, stamp, sticker, sucker, and this was a sucker week, and in my house, suckers are outside snacks. And so, yeah, well, they are having their suckers, and we are sitting outside. Last night was a crazy out-of-the-blue storm. It was not really predicted, and, of course, it started right around bedtime, and I have storm-anxious kids, and so it was a long night because it was very, very windy, and my middle daughter, her bedroom is just such that like rain falls from the gutter and onto like an overhang part of our roof that's metal, and so it sounds so much worse than it is, and it was just a really, really, really long night. And so now it's breezy and cool, and like it's just awesome out here, so I'll take it because tomorrow's back to 100 degrees. So I don't even know when the last time I updated this is. You guys, physical reading has been just not happening. And I do know why. Because I got myself backed into a hole with audiobooks and all that kind of stuff where due dates are approaching so fast that I constantly have to be prioritizing that in order to get things done before they're due back. And I was doing a lot of readathons, had a big TBR, and I just don't like where I ended up. And so I'm almost done, like I'm almost out the other side. So I have read a couple more. The other thing is this shelf. I don't know how it's possible, but they're all like 20 page chapters. And 20 pages is not that much, but when you're doing 20 times like 25 books or whatever it is, it feels very daunting. So I have finished 2 though. Flirting with 40 by Jane Porter. And I don't think I've ever picked anything up by Jane Porter, and I saw Bree, my good friend Bree, from Brien Unabashedly, talking about her just the other day. So this one, the first chapter is super cute. It is about a single mom with a boy and a girl kids, and it's Christmas time, and they're trying to get a Christmas tree, and I think it's her first year without her husband, and she's just trying to figure it out. She's frustrated. She's trying to figure out kind of the dynamics with her kids. Her kids, I think, are like older than mine, but not quite teenagers, so maybe like 8, 9, 10 tween age years. I don't know. And so this was really cute, and the 20 pages flew by quickly. So I enjoyed this. Not so much this other one. So The Elegant Gathering of White Snow. So this one is super long chapters, and honestly I made it like 4 or 5 pages in when I decided this is not going to be for me. So the premise is that it's about something like 8 women began walking together down a rural highway. Career women, housewives, mothers, blah, blah, blah. But they decide to disappear from their own life and start a pilgrimage across the country. So that sounded really good to me. Just reading the back, I was like, ooh, 8 women, that could be a lot, because they're named by name, and we get each of their histories, it says. And so that could be a lot, and especially with those super long chapters, that could be a lot. But what really did this for me is in the first less than 5 pages, they use God's name as a curse word more than once, and I just am not about that. And some reviews have said it's overly steamy and just kind of crass, and I just don't need that. So those are the 2 that I have read through, and we will keep chugging along. Soon I will be back with more updates. Hey everyone, so it is amazing to me what like the deadlines and stuff of the audiobooks and all that I got into this last month. Like, it's amazing what the deadlines and stuff have done to my mental health, because now I'm almost caught up, and now I have time to read. Now I have like the mental clarity to read, which shows me that maybe I need to do a month or some sort of period of no audiobooks, or I can only have 2 or 3 out at a time, or something that cause it shouldn't be stressful like that. Like, if I don't get to it, I don't get to it. I don't know what the solution is, but feeling a lot better and got a lot read. So, this morning We had gymnastics. The kids did. I didn't. Except they did. My 5-year-old asked their teacher, do you have adult gymnastics? Because my mom really needs to get better at handstands. Like, are you kidding me, kid? But so they had gymnastics. So I read a couple of these last night, and then gymnastics is during the baby's nap time. And so I'm frequently like pacing the building, trying to get her to go to sleep. So I have a book while I'm walking. So, let's just talk about them. So the first one is a pretty chunky one. It is Take a Look at Me Now by Anita Notaro. And this one is about, I don't really know, honestly. It's a split second when time stood still and our lives changed forever. For Lily Ormond, that moment came late one night when she answered a knock on the door and discovered that while she'd been smashing garlic and rosemary and watching the soaps, her sister Allison had drowned. So basically, Allison is, she's got this little boy. And they're playing like at the ocean or lake or somewhere. I don't know. This is in Ireland, so I'm guessing the ocean. And the high tide comes in. And so they are trying to get like to wherever they need to be. And I would say definitely imagery and like painting the scene is not a strong suit in at least this first chapter. But anyway, high tide comes in. They're trying to get to safety. They can't. She calls for help. And the guy is like, okay, hold on to your son. I'll get you both. And she's like, no, like, cause the water's up way too high. And so she's like, no, take him, then come get me. As I think a lot of mothers would do. And so they get the son, and then, she drowns. That's the first chapter. So I would like, while I do think, setting the scene is not a strong suit, there were some times that I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, where exactly are they trying to get? Like, I couldn't quite understand. I couldn't quite envision the scene, but like the purpose behind it, I understand. And it was really intense. And, I think this will go pretty quickly. The font is decently big, and, so we'll see. Yeah, I think this will be a quick, good read. Next is this one, Sunshine on Silver Lake by Annie Raines. So this is, I think the fifth, I don't know. It's somewhere in her Silver Lake series, but I'm assuming they're companions. Doesn't really matter. This first chapter is about this girl, Emma. She works at a cafe, and it says she's planning a 5K, and she needs help from the park ranger, who is her longtime like childhood friend. I think they briefly had a thing in high school, and I think he like has feelings for her and always has. And we don't really get to any of the 5K stuff in this, but we do get them kind of interacting. He comes to the cafe to wish her happy birthday, and we really see his like crush on her. I'm assuming the feelings go both ways, and she's guarded for some reasons. Based on the first chapter, this is not anything that like super grabbed me. It feels like it might be like a 3.5 star generic romance. However, there's a couple things with this book. I looked on Goodreads as I kind of have been, and it's got really good ratings. So I've heard and from people I trust that's a good romance. The back also the other reason that I'm thinking I'll keep this is because sometimes I really need these just mindless, brainless, romance that I know exactly what the plot points are going to be. Like, it's nothing that's going to be really challenging. And this feels really long, and it's a mass market paperback. So I was about to say, nope, sorry, off my shelf. But, it got a bonus story by Hope Ramsey. So the actual story is like 315 pages, which is not bad. So considering especially that you can be kind of mindless when you read this. So, I think I'll probably keep this one. This is one, though, that I would reserve the right to DNF if it doesn't, like, the first chapter was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It didn't grab me, but it didn't, like, turn me off. And so, if I'm still not grabbed a few more chapters into it, then, I would have no problem letting it go. Next is The Forgotten Orphan by Glynis Peters. So you guys know, if you've watched all my videos, which there's some of you who do, and I just love you so much, but I bought this book twice. I bought it at our library book sale as well as our Friends at the Library store at 2 separate times. So I was that intrigued. And it's told from the perspective of a teenage girl, and she is living in an orphanage and she has never been adopted. And so I think it's just her story. I haven't read the back. It's England in 1940. So, abandoned when she was tiny, Maisie Reynolds was separated from her twin brother and forced to grow up in Hollybush Orphanage, a place where she has never known love or kindness. So she alludes to some of the kind of cruelty that's happened. We don't really see any, but with the world at war and Hitler's devastating bombs coming ever closer, fate has other plans for Maisie, and a secret from her past changes everything. So, yeah, it sounds really interesting. The first chapter definitely kind of grabbed me. So there's that. Then we have one more, but it is in this pile, of stuff. We got free books from the library. We checked out a ton. We got free books from the summer reading program. They got to pick. Then my kids also, they're inside. That's why you can't see them back there. But they checked out, or my daughter finished a box of readers. Like, I bought her some of her favorite characters. This one was Berenstain Bears. It's 12 readers. She finished it. And so I said she could pick a book from the Friends of the Library bookstore. So we have a stack here. But so I have one more chapter that I read. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. Wish You Were Here by Stewart Onan. This is really thick. And this is one that I've been putting off because it's a relatively long chapter and not great font and all that kind of stuff. I've been putting it off quite a bit. But this one I am definitely going to unhaul. I gave it about 5 pages before I realized this is not for me. So this is about, well, in the first 5 pages or whatever, it was 2 people going on a road trip for something somewhere. I don't really know where they were going or what they were doing. But yeah, it says, after a year after the death of her husband Henry, Emily Maxwell gathers her family by Lake something in Western New York. So it's a whole family drama, but like just the writing style was not good. The font is really, really small and cramped, and like they don't even have like their own pages for chapters. It just stops in the middle of a page for a new chapter, and this just feels like a slump waiting to happen. And it's like a brick. This is very heavy, and Goodreads ratings are like 3.3. So I don't think I'm missing anything in letting this one go. So there's 4 more read. I bought a bunch of stuff at the library bookstore as well. And so I'm going to go through these because this is my last and final like physical only TBR shelf. And so I'm going to go through, and if there's any that I cannot get digital copies of, I will add them probably to this video. So this video may go on forever. It may be an hour long. It may be 2 parts. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. And I'm glad to finally be like physically reading again. So we'll see. Hey everyone. So clearly I haven't looked in the mirror in a while because we are at baseball and it is like so hot. And so like I'm just like sweaty and windblown and it's just gross. But I brought books with me, and I read a couple last night, and then I read one more while we were here, the first chapters anyway. And so let's talk about it. This is their last week of baseball too, and I could not be more happy. But anyway, we've got The Hellion by Lavyrle Spencer. So Lavyrle Spencer is one of those OG kind of Mary Higgins Clark. Like, she is one of the women who have been writing forever. Like, look at this picture. This is just the bread and butter of like old classic like romance. And this is from 1984 about a bad boy and his high school girlfriend, I think, and they have a second chance romance. Well, the first chapter is like 25 pages, and we've been here at the Fields since, well, probably about 2 hours, and it's taken me the whole time to read that first chapter because it is just so descriptive. A little, like, I don't care about bad boys. That's not my jam. And this guy's like proving how terrible he is, how he doesn't care about anybody or anything, and and that's just not my jam. And so I went and looked at reviews, and they say this one gets overly steamy, it's just drawn out. This is not her best, all of that. So I've read other Lavyrle Spencers that I like, but this one I just don't think is going to be for me. So I'm going to let that one go. Then we've got I'm sitting in the car too, cooling off, and my kids and husband are like way over there, so that's awesome. But A Perfect Pairing by Sheryl Lister. So this is a brand new one that I just got, but I don't think I can get a digital copy, and so I read the first chapter of this, and this is Natasha and Antonio. So Natasha is a top realtor, and she is given this project to like sell this house, and she has to work with Antonio. So again, a second chance. This was very mediocre to me. The first chapter was fine. I'll probably still read it because it was so kindly gifted to me from the publisher, and it's got like, she goes to a supper club with some female friends, so I'm like in it for the women's friendship. So we'll just kind of see. I will keep this one and try it. I think I can get a copy of on NetGalley, which will give it to me on ebook, and that might be easier to get through. But I predict this one will be kind of a generic one. So there's that. And then the last one is one that has terrible ratings on Goodreads. Terrible ratings on Goodreads. And I'm going to hold it up, but either I don't have the dust jacket, I lost it, or it didn't come with it, because you guys know I buy almost all my books used. But it's called Thinner Than Thou by Kit Reed. So I'll just hold it like this so you guys can see the title. And this is interesting. This is about a dystopian world in which your body and your body size is like very, very important. And anorexia and bulimia, like eating disorders like that, are a problem, and so is obesity, I guess. And this I can see being very, very problematic, but it's a dystopian in which it's very like vehemently pointing out that it's problematic. So I don't know, this guy has really low Goodreads ratings, but I'm really intrigued, and so I'm gonna try it. I mean, I was interested in the first chapter, and I am just curious because I really like dystopian books, and so sounds interesting because we're following siblings, and their older sister has gotten sent away because she got in trouble, which I assumed meant like a pregnancy, but I think she is anorexic, and so I don't know, man, this could be really, really like triggering and problematic, but it could be really interesting. So I'm going to keep that one. So 2 that I'm going to keep and 1 that I am not. And the 2 that I'm going to keep, I'm very cautiously optimistic. So I think I need to read those 2 like soon, because otherwise if I put them back on my shelf, they might just sit there for a while because I'm a little nervous about both of them. So that's that. I'm going to go watch this last like 45 minutes of baseball, and then we are done for the season. Whoop, whoop. So that is that. We'll see you when I've read more. Hopefully I'll read a little bit more right now, but it's like they do a practice and then a game, and it's just about game time, so I got to go. Hey everyone, we've got 2 more done. So the first one is The Secret Letter by Debbie Ricks. And this one is, I've read a couple of Debbie Ricks books before, and so I had high expectations for this one. And this one is interesting. It has like a lot of like lead up. So it's got a prologue, which is December 2018. And this is this older woman gets a letter from somebody random kind of saying like, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about the death of your husband. I just heard about it even though it happened 2 years ago. And he was, I guess they interacted during the war, maybe during World War II. And then we go back to part 1 is talking about just setting the stage for the war. And then chapter 1 is in Newcastle, England, the last days of August 1939. So this is just as the war is about to start, and our main character, Imogen, she is 15, and her mom is telling her, like, hey, you are about to go, like all the kids from the city are about to get sent to the countryside to keep you safe. And so she's going to be separated from her parents. And I don't really know what part of that like comes into that, but this was really intriguing. And I think this will be really fast paced and really interesting. So I'm excited about this one. Next is Running from the Law by Lisa Scottolini. So this one, I love Lisa Scottolini. She writes some really good, like kind of detective, courtroom thrillers, I guess, and that's not normally my jam, but I really like her, and this I think is her debut. I'm not sure when this came out. Let's see if I can tell. I'm not positive, but this is about let's see, hold on, I've got to know. 1996, and so I'm pretty sure, and it was self-published, and so this one is about Rita Marone, and I don't think this is a series, but it would kind of surprise me if this was a standalone, because normally she follows like a detective or a defense attorney or whatever it may be, and she follows them for some books. And so this is wisecracking Rita Marone, I want to call her Monroe, plays to win, whether it's poker or trial law. So she's defending a federal judge accused of sexual harassment, and the judge is her boyfriend's father. And so, I mean, there's a lot of lines that are going to get crossed there. And this first chapter was just okay. It was definitely her kind of like strutting her stuff, showing who she is and that she'll take no crap from anybody. And this was just okay. I wouldn't read this if this was somewhere in the middle, but I'm really curious to read her debut. So if you can hear somebody is crying, mama, so that's that. I'll check in soon. Hey everyone, so I've finished a couple more. Today has just not gone according to plan. We had speech this morning, and then I had a babysitter for 2 hours so I could get a few things done and prep for school and just organized and all of that. And I ended up spending the whole 2 hours organizing like kids books and stuff, and they're just like, we have way too many kids books, but I cannot make myself get rid of kids books because my kids will sit and just look at books forever. I need a better storage solution. So if you have good storage tips or how to rotate them, like, I don't know, something's got to change. But I spent all my time doing that. And then we were all very ready for nap. And so we got everybody down, and then one of my kids woke everybody else back up. So we're all just a little irritable, but we went to Michael's and tried to find some storage solution for said books. And I found some stuff that might work, but we'll see. So anyway, last night I read 2 chapters. So I read The Hostile Makeover by Wendy Wax. So Wendy Wax, I really like her. She writes women's fiction, chick lit, really well. And this one is one that I'm not sure. I was really interested in the first chapter, but it could get a little much for me. So this is about a woman in the workplace, and she it gets passed over kind of for a man, and she has to work with this man, and I'm sure it's going to be their romance, but also some like female empowerment of her kind of maybe. I don't know. And there's a lot of like sexual innuendos in this. And so if this gets steamy, I don't know. But like, I'm intrigued enough because this is the kind of like brain candy that I really like. So I feel like a lot of these I'm giving mediocre reviews, and a lot of you are going to yell at me just to get rid of them. But this one I think I might enjoy. I don't know. We'll see. I reserve the right to DNF it again, but it's not one that I'm like blaringly, that is not going to be for me. And then next is Recovering Charles by Jason F. Wright. And this one is, I read the prologue because this says it's a story of, it's blurbed on the back by Glenn Beck. Maybe just Glenn Beck. I don't know. But, and the prologue is just talking about kind of this guy's history. And I think this book is about, let's see, this really gives me the vibes of, goodness, who is it? Well, Jason F. Wright wrote a Christmas book that I really liked, but he gives me Richard Paul Evans vibes. Lots of Richard Paul Evans vibes. So this one says, Luke is a man who does not know, I think I'm gonna have to take off these glasses because I'm in the garage now, and so I don't really need them. So Luke is a man who does not know he's lost. His career in Manhattan is going well. He has the love of close friends, a future he looks forward to, but the past reveals a twisted smile on a phone call, and a disconnected voice asks him to come find his estranged father in post-Katrina New Orleans. And he's compelled to find out what kind of man he truly is, and who the man is that his father has become. That feels really clunky to me, but yeah, it was a really, really fast writing style, and I was really interested and definitely got those Richard Paul Evans vibes. So definitely enjoyed this one too. So 2 more that I'm going to be keeping, and we've got a few more on the shelf. So we will see how it goes, but I will try not to be so chatty. So this isn't an hour long, but it might be anyway. We'll see you after I've read some more. Hey everyone, it is the most beautiful day today. It has been like, for the past probably 10 days, 2 weeks, maybe there's been no rain forecasted, and it's rained like every day. And yesterday the sky was gray. Like there was not a speck of sun in sight. And today is just blue skies and beautiful, and it's like 75 and breezy, and it is just the best day ever. And so we're outside, and tomorrow it's going to storm. Like they said 100% chance it's going to storm. So today we are outside. But last night I finished 2 more chapters. So the first one is The Good Dream by Donna Van Leer. So I think I just bought this one. But this one is about a girl who her mom is like always kind of harping on her to get married. And she's like, no, I'm content, like just living with you, doing what I do, doing all the things. And so now she's like nearing 30 maybe, and she's like considered the town spinster, and her mom dies, I think, at the end of this. So Donna Van Leer does very like inspirational kind of like, I don't think she's a Christian fiction author, but this is Tennessee 1950 is the setting, and it says let's see, about a woman's unlikely path to motherhood and the healing power of love. So I don't really need to know any more about that. I was really drawn in by the first chapter, and the writing is great. I was really intrigued to find out what happens to this gal when like she's, you know, just kind of lived with her mom, lived a quiet life, and now her mom's gone. And very similar, very, very similar, this book, If You Could Go Anywhere by Paige Toon, this is about a girl who, I think she was asked when she was younger, like, if you could go anywhere, where would you go? And she basically said anywhere but here. And she ended up staying in the town because of her grandmother, her grandmother. So, and then that leaves her with no family and no reason to stay in the little town that she doesn't love. So, where's she going to go? What's going to happen? Again, writing style was great. I don't think I've read a Paige Toon, but I've heard great things. So both of those are definitely staying on my shelf and will be like primetime women's fiction. So I'm excited. Now, you guys are probably wondering, how many books do you have left, lady? And I think there's only 3 left. So I'm going to try. My parents are coming up today and tomorrow, which means I should have more time to read, but I also really need to plan for school and like do laundry without help, all those kind of things. So I don't know if I will get any more read like right now, but it'll be soon. Hey everyone, so it is not often that you see straight hair Chloe, but I just got my hair cut, and you can't tell, but I got like 4 or 6 inches off. I think probably 6 inches off, because I think she did 4, and then I said let's just go a little shorter, so I think it was 6 total, and it feels so good. Like, I have such thick hair, and so she really like layered it and textured it, and so it feels so good. Like, I think my head just like lost 5 pounds. It feels very good. So and now I'm about to head home and get the kids and go to the library, and just to kind of burn some energy, because you can see it is stormy and rainy and just gross here today, and it's gonna be pretty much all day. So my parents are up here. I think I maybe said that yesterday, but they are up here just for the rest of the day, and we got to get some energy out of these kids. So I finally finished the last 3. Whoop, whoop. So the first one is Martina Riley. She is an Irish author, and this is the wish list. So we don't really know what's going on, except this husband and wife have 2 sons, and some man comes to the door saying he like knows her husband, and she like, for some reason, she knows it's serious. And he says, like, you owe me $50,000. You've got a week to get it to me or else. And, like, she knows that it's serious. And one of her sons gets injured, and she, like, is not even caring because she's, like, focused on this guy. So what is her husband into? What's going on? I don't know, but I'm intrigued. Next is, love these car clips, but the things Jolie needs to do before she bites it. And so this is by Carrie Winfrey. So Carrie Winfrey wrote Waiting for Tom Hanks, and she's one of my favorite authors. Love those books and love everything she's written as an adult, like in the adult genre. But she started with YA, and this is one that a sweet subscriber sent me years ago, and I have yet to read it because it's like one of those that I think is going to be so good, I'm scared to have it be over. And this is about a girl named Jolie who she has a severe underbite, and so bad, like it's so much that she avoids having people see her profile. She really struggles to eat, she doesn't smile, all that kind of stuff, and she's about to have major surgery to have her jaw broken and put back where it needs to be. And her teenage sister is pregnant, and so there's that storyline. We have no idea who the dad is, all that kind of stuff, and her sister's like beautiful Miss Prom Queen, and so what happened there, I don't know. But her mom and her sister have gotten very into like medical mysteries and shows like that. And so now she's afraid that like she's going to go in for this surgery and she's not going to make it out. So this first chapter was awesome. Like, I'm in love with Jolie. It's just a cute, really cute, going to be a fun YA. So I'm excited to read that. And then the last one, the very last one is A Summer's Child by Louise Rice. And so this is kind of a chunky paperback or mass market. And I just read the prologue because chapters are kind of long. But this is, I was ready to unhaul this. However, the prologue really gripped me. It is about a woman who was about to give birth and then went missing. And now it's been years. Her body has not been found. Her baby has not been found. We have no idea what happened to her. And I'm really intrigued. So it says, on the first day of summer, Mara Jamison went out to water her garden and was never seen again. Years after her disappearance, no one could forget the expectant mother whose glowing smile had captured the heart of everyone who'd known her. Maeve Jamison, still mourning the loss of a granddaughter she struggled to protect, Patrick Murphy, a dogged police detective, and Lily Malone, whatever. So there's going to be multiple different lives around this story, but it sounds really intriguing, and I'm really excited to read it. So that is the try chapter tag. I think I only got rid of 3, but 3 is, and maybe I'll pop up a different number if it's not 3, but it's still, some are off my shelf. That feels really good. And some of these I'm really excited to read. Some I feel mediocre about. I'm going to be watching Kindle deals and all that to see if maybe I can get it on Kindle to spark my enthusiasm a little bit more. You guys are going to tell me just go ahead and get rid of the ones I feel mediocre about, but my FOMO is too bad. You just never know. You never know. And they were intriguing enough to keep. So that is everything. If you want to buddy read any of these, let me know, because that would obviously spur me on. And I love these ones that I have to physically read, being able to buddy read. So let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.